The next speaker, Dr. Benedict Fu, interesting that he chose to talk about robotic process automation as a strategy. Now, actually, it shouldn't surprise me because I've known Ben for a long time, the MD of Untitled. I know him as a serial entrepreneur, engineer, as well as a couple of other things, and very versatile in his knowledge and business. As a matter of fact, I think he just had an announcement that he's one of the Malaysian government agency's partner, Nano Malaysia, into promoting, or rather designing a new system of charging phones at home or something to that effect. Anyway, Dr. Fu, we'll listen to your teachings.
Right. So thank you, Mr. Xiong, for the introduction. Right. So you call me Ben. Been running my own business for 15 years now. So like we have been into different types of businesses, right from research equipment to oil and gas to energy efficiency, and now into robotics. And we're going to apply robotics into our new product, which is which Yong mentioned just now, which is the a true wireless charger, wireless mobile charger. So there is no strings attached, no wires attached. Right? Okay, so let me get right down to the topic of the day, which is understanding digital transformation, which is robotic process automation as a strategy. Okay, RPA as a strategy. So there's a saying, if you snooze, you lose. It's because now everybody is going digital and going for automation. All right. So if any company or any organization that actually don't get onto the bandwagon soon, sorry to say, but these organizations will be wiped off because it's something that it's unavoidable. All right. So, okay, I'll go through robotics and intelligent automation, organizational challenges with automation, and then the automation journey, how to automate. So purpose and the strategy, organize and mobilize, relevant and sustain, and then the automation opportunities. All right. Okay, so when you talk about digital transformation, okay, we look at the three-pronged approach. Right. So why we go into digital transformation or automation? First of all, of course, we want to look into efficiency. We need to improve efficiency. The higher efficiency means the more revenue or the more money we can make. Then transparency. So that's where when you go into transparency, that's where you can really see what's happening in terms of workflow, the business process management, and then the client and user experience. Because we really need to know what's happening at every point in the organization. Then from there, you will have the insight. So insight means data. What do you do with the data? You have to churn, you have to process. And then from there, you go through the whole cycle again. Because with data, that's why now data is so important. Right, next. Okay, so why do we automate? Or why do we go with robotic process automation? So these are the benefits. Okay, simple thing as if an employee executes a workflow with a computer, keyboard, system, then RPA technology may be considered to automate the entire process or part of it. Because automation can start with a very simple process in your organization or in your company. A simple thing like things have been automated for quite a while now. It's just taking attendance of your employees or check-in. All right. So what are the benefits? Some of it is like, with robots, you can actually use robots to support your current workforce. right? So robots does not mean physical hardware robots. It also can mean software robots. So software robots together with hardware robots, it can actually complete the whole ecosystem. Right? So RPA also can actually leverage on existing user interfaces. So what you have now is just an add-on that's talking about software robots. Then works with existing business processes. And then you also can use robots to actually either be trained by business users, or you also can use robots to assist your current customers. So when you use RPA, one of it is, for example, like the data entry cost up to 70%. Why do we say that? It's because when you talk about having robots, you are all the data entry can be automated. It does not need. Because previously all these data are all being input manually. So you actually minimize or close to zero of all those things. All right, next. Okay, what is intelligent automation? So we actually leverage on whatever advanced technology that's available, and then to provide optimal cognitive solutions. So what are the 5 capabilities using robotics? The robotic process automation or desktop automation. So this is what I mentioned before about hardware robots and also software robots. Okay, data consumption. So how do you get data? So you got optical characterization recognition or intelligent voices. So that's audio, one's visual, one's audio. So like now, even like simple things like a QC, quality checks. Quality checks are all now, most of it are all using vision or optical. So cognitive capabilities, that's why we are all in this conference now. AI, one of the main thing. Machine learning, and natural language processing. So that's where you have interactive robots and all that. So communication, you talk about chatbots, workflow management, IBPMS, intelligent business process management system. So everything is talking about intelligent now. So then you got advanced analytics and insight. So these are all talking about data. That's why now you every time hear things about big data, because data is money now. With the data you have, you know which direction you're going, where are the small spaces or places which you actually can minimize your cost, cut down losses, improve profits. All right, next. Okay, so organizational challenges with automation. Yeah, I mean, we have been hearing about automation, we're hearing about AI, we're hearing about automating everything, but there are a lot of challenges because this is moving organizations, people out of their comfort zone. So the first thing is overcoming automation anxiety. A lot of people will actually feel stressed out because they are worried about their jobs. But automation should not be, yes, taking over certain jobs, but should not be replacing jobs. They should be assisting jobs to make jobs more profitable, more efficient. Right. So another thing is to coping with the fast pace of transition. Because when you go to automation, it means you talk about speed. So organization, you do go into automate. Those who really embark into automation, they actually go pretty fast. And the workforce actually don't actually accept it that easily. So you're talking about 12 weeks or less, or not more than 24 months in the typical technology implementation. So you got fragmented impact because the workflow and all that is actually you will be impacted. And then you got to and then your responsibilities and accountabilities have all changed. So the bottom line is moving up our comfort zone to move up with automation. Next. Okay, the automation journey. So when we want to implement RPA in the optimal approach, first of course we have to determine the purpose and strategy. Why do we want to automate? So we have to define the business purpose, identify short-term and long-term goals. You got to map the business outcomes with automation, and then you got to prioritize initial investments because automation is expensive at the initial stage, but I mean the rewards are a lot more. Then organize and mobilize, because once you have your purpose and strategy done, you have to organize and mobilize. So automation, you got to check all your stakeholders in your organization. Then you have to identify external ecosystem, your vendors, partners, who can be your robot partners. That's where we have a few partners in our association itself in terms of having physical robots and also soft robots. Then infrastructure, application, policy updates. Because when we use robots, certain things have changed, policies have changed. Okay, then you're talking about relevant and sustainable. When we implement something, it has to be relevant and it has to be sustainable. If not, don't embark into it. All right. So you're talking about enterprise collaboration and scalability, because when you start something, it has to be scalable. Because when we try, it's always try something small. Okay, next slide. Sorry. Back, not front. Yeah. All right. Okay. So the journey timeline, say start small. So when you get your purpose and strategy done, you can start with stage 1, which are the early days. You're talking about less than 5. So proof of concept, start with a few number of robots, less than 5. Then when you are already at the next stage, you already have an automation team or a task force. And you're going to 5 to 10 number of robots in your production or in your organization. Then you're having an automation center of excellence. Because you're already moving to the next stage. Then here you're talking about 10, 20 to 40. Then by the time you reach the 5th stage, you are already so matured that your workforce is actually virtual. So you have to go through all these stages to assure that your all that you have strategized is relevant and is sustainable. Next. Right. So the rapid proof of concept development, which is 5 stages, comprehensive structured, which is approximately of about 4 weeks. Then you actually can come up with a proof of concept. So you actually just choose something small in your office or in your organization, in your process. So use a case selection. Okay, then business case that selection become business case development, because you really have to have the business case before you can spend a bit of money in any organization. So then current state and future state of documentation. Then that's where your RPA development come about. Then the implementation. So this is just a very brief overview in terms of the rapid proof of concept. Because like for our new, my new product that we have soft launched yesterday, this is the process that we are going through. It's because we see the importance of having robotics and process automation to minimize dependency of workforce and to be efficient. And as Hon mentioned in the previous presentation also, and due to COVID, process automation is essential. And up to now, we actually don't have any, time frame when this kind of pandemic is over. All right. So, next slide. So, thank you very much. So, this is manual processing going into robotic process. Yeah.
You want to share some thoughts about rubbing shoulder with our Minister of Science and Technology yesterday?